Okay, well, thanks again for having me. And so, Taylor Amerman, and I lead social impact at CDW. Might have heard of CDW, but it is a huge Fortune 200 company headquartered in Chicago. And our company purpose is, or really more phrase, but is to make amazing happen. And our mission is we make technology work so people can do great things. And what in the world is CDW? So, formerly known as Computer Discount Warehouse, you used to be able to go to a warehouse and buy your laptops for your business, but it is a huge B2B tech reseller. So, we are in the middle of the industry. We work with for-profit companies that you can see on the screen under the key partners like Lenovo, Dell, Microsoft, and we resell those products to thousands, hundreds of thousands of customers. And so our customers would be other businesses, hospitals, schools, universities, cities, like local governments, for example, and also nonprofits. So we sell technology to everyone. And the benefit of what we offer is that you can get all of your technology needs met at one through one person, through one salesperson, instead of having tons of individual contracts. So, more or less, CDW is a ton of sellers, is who runs our business. And of course, being in social impact, I am more we call backbone of the business, and just recently moved to our HR function. So, that is where we are housed. And that's not even official until January 1st. So, that is very new update for us. And for I'll explain a little bit more about what is social impact at CDW, but our ESG function is under our legal team. And then our supplier diversity is under our business operations. And we do still have a DE&I, or what we call one CDW team, is next to us in HR. So we are parallel. So all of us together are our ESG team. So I want to start here because this is all about social impact, but of course, the integration into the business. So this is a newer slide for us. Just being in HR, we want to reiterate that social impact is actually driving the business forward. And so you all know these, but wanted to just recap. First is being the employer of choice, right? That we are here for our people. It is important for professional development, team building, to attract and engage our top talent to CDW. We have about 15,000 employees globally, I will say. Also, it increases our license to operate and to grow as a company. We all know that social impact and investing in local communities builds trust, enhances our reputation, and just our overall brand in the industry, right? We want our for-profit partners to choose to work with us. And we also think it's a differentiator to all of our customers. And especially in those RFPs, we want to be able to respond with all of the great work that we are doing. And then finally, expand and deepen customer relationships. This is where our team is really focusing right now, is how can we support our sellers and help them meet their customer needs. But we know having the values alignment strengthens our partnerships and drives new opportunity and fuels mutual success. So one example there would be in the city of Chicago. So CDW is headquartered in Chicago, and we have a very large contract with the city for all of their technology needs. And we share ideas with them. What more can we do to address digital opportunity in the city? How can we be a better provider and a better partner to them? But they really care. The city of Chicago really cares that we are investing locally and doing everything we can to support the local community there. So, what is social impact at CDW? We have two very distinct strategies. The first is through our grants process, and I'll call this the highly aligned strategic function of digital opportunity. We're a large tech company. Of course, our philanthropy is focused on digital opportunity. Was formerly digital equity, but now digital opportunity. So, what does that look like? It's three pillars for us. The first is providing access. We want everyone to have access to a computer, Wi-Fi, connectivity. And so we work with partners like CompuDopt is a nonprofit, and they take donated devices refurbish them, and then redistribute them in local communities. We're actually working on integrating them into our business so our customers, once they have used devices, because they'll be buying new devices from CDW, so they need to dispose of their used devices. And now a new option for them is that they can donate those used devices to CompuDot. So it's both a philanthropic partnership for us, but it's also a business opportunity for us. The second pillar is building skills or education. So we work that's either supporting STEM education, digital literacy, computer science. So that might be working with organizations like Empower, Perscalis, IC Stars in Chicago, a lot of upskilling organizations. And then the third pillar is developing our workforce. And of course, we want CDW and as well as the entire industry to be reflective of the world that we live in. So we work with Girls Who Code, Out in Tech, All Star Code, to name a few. And then also through the philanthropic relationship, we also are able to recruit and attract their top talent to CDW. So again, this is what we are focused on for our grant process. To provide a little more context, we give only around $1 million a year in grants. So it's relatively small given how big of a company we are. Our philanthropic budget is pretty small, but it's highly focused and highly strategic. Now, that's one strategy. The second is all about coworker engagement. And I'll say this is where CDW has been stronger for a longer time. They really care about people. It's a Midwest company, strong values. It's about 40 years old now, and they've really cared about employees. Now, it's the complete opposite of being focused. It's all about supporting our coworkers and what they care about. So highly broad. We want to empower them in their local communities and with the causes they care about most. So I'm going to go through a few of our programs so you can know the context of what we offer to our employees. Like many of you, the first program we have is a matching gift program. So we work with Your Cause or Blackbaud product, and we match up to $2,000 a year per coworker. And again, that is to all causes. If they are approved, they are in there. So a lot of coworkers still think we might just have a list of approved organizations, like there's only 100 that you can give to. No, there's thousands and thousands of nonprofits that are approved through Your Cause, and they love this. This is our most admired program and the program that our employees love the most and love to participate in the most. It's also where we have the highest engagement rate. As you can see, here are some numbers from 2024 around how many coworkers have donated, around 1,200 to over 1,300 nonprofits. And CDW coworkers donated 689,000 and CDW matched 660. And just to explain why there might be a discrepancy in those two numbers, say I made a $4,000 donation, but I only had 2,000 of it matched. That's why the coworker number is always higher than the company number. This is a huge chunk of our budget. Again, almost half of our budget is with our matching gifts program. Second program we offer our employees is 8 hours of paid time off. I will say this is all recorded in Workday, not Your Cause. Some things are recorded in Your Cause, but volunteer time off is Workday. Like many of you, we have also gone to flexible time off policies or unlimited vacation time policies, which has actually helped us support coworkers to volunteer more than the 8 hours. That's the positive. I'd say the downside of that policy is that volunteer hours are just not recorded as much, right? So what we do state usually how many hours every year that coworkers have volunteered. It's just highly inaccurate because there's not an incentive to go into the system and record them. We're just much more on the trust-based process for recording hours. But we still like to say we have a policy, we have a program, and that the company encourages employees to volunteer. We also do a lot to support nonprofit board service, both at the C-suite level, senior leaders, but we've done more to educate all levels of coworkers on what is nonprofit board service, or that could also be a committee that they want to participate in. We work with a partner called board.dev and highly recommend them. And what they have helped us with is how can we get more tech leaders and tech expertise to serve on a nonprofit board? And not just get them there, but once they are there, how can they help with the tech governance of a nonprofit? It's a huge need, big gap on most nonprofit boards right now. So, how can they go in and be an advocate for technology and help the staff get the technology that they need? So, this is one we are focused on as a team. All right, so that sets some context. I have been at CDW for 4.5 years, and we have strengthened all of those programs significantly. But where we were about 2 years ago is in addition to those programs, we had around $150,000 allocated to various offices across the US where we had a concentrated office or group of coworkers. As you can see, $150,000 is not a lot, and so it was around $15,000 per office that they could allocate those dollars. You might imagine there was a lack of governance around those, and it was the process of how those got allocated locally varied across each office. So we were dealing with like some integrity issues, not legal. We weren't doing anything wrong, but just we could be more consistent in the use of dollars and budget. Also, 10,000 was just not a whole lot for a local community. So so that was one issue we were trying to solve for. Okay, integrity around how dollars were allocated. Second, at the time, again, this is around 2023, and a lot of companies are encouraging return to office, bringing coworkers together. But in addition, our for profit partners also, remember, they want to advertise and be in front of our sellers. Sellers are the number one employee at CDW. So, how could we use volunteerism to get in front of our sellers in a new, unique way? But overall, to encourage connection and really bring people together. The third thing we wanted to solve for was impact. So the only thing we had was our grant dollars to about 30 nonprofit organizations and then these allocated regional budgets. That was it. So that meant if the finance team wanted to do something, no budget. If the business resource group wanted to volunteer, no budget. If the marketing team wanted to volunteer, no budget. Okay. So only a few coworkers truly had access to social impact budgets. There just didn't exist. Very small budget, 2 million total. What can we do with the dollars that we have? So, trying to deal with these challenges, our team developed the local impact program. So we are 2024, we did half a year, and 2025 is our only full year of operating this program. And what the whole purpose is to support and encourage group volunteerism. Okay. And we want to amplify the impact workers can make for local organizations they care about. So it does not have to be a digital opportunity partner. It can be the local food bank, for example. Okay, so what is it? So coworkers may earn a $1,000 grant for every volunteer event that they organize. And they can do that 4 times a year for a max of $4,000 per year. So they have $2,000 match and then this local impact program. Because we also wanted to encourage and incentivize leaders, people who say, hey, I'm passionate about the local food bank. I'm going to organize a volunteer event for my team. We wanted them to be rewarded with the grant, and the grant goes straight to the food bank. The other thing is it needs to be at least 5 CDW employees. That's what group means to us. But we really have been encouraging our employees to invite their for-profit partners, the Lenovo's, Dells of the world, but also their customers. What a great way to get face time with a customer or even go to a nonprofit they care about, right? To provide that opportunity and time together to, of course, enhance business relationships. And then the third part is after you create the event, after you go, we do want people to share what they're doing. So we use Microsoft products, and Viva Engage is our internal communications platform to share stories and highlights. And of course, using that to inspire other coworkers to do something similar with their local team. So it's been very successful. I'd say the other thing we were able to do is some of our tech partners, like Okta, I'm a big fan of their work, they have a similar program to this. And theirs is actually $2,000. So if we were to volunteer in New York with Okta as our partner, that food bank in New York would get $3,000, 1,000 from CDW and 2,000 from Okta. So we've been able to promote their social impact programs internally to incentivize our coworkers to work with them too on volunteerism. And then again, their big benefit is they get to spend time with CDW sellers and team members to stand out internally. So huge business benefits. So here are the metrics for 2025. I just pulled these the other day about where are we. So we've had over 1,000 people participate. We've done it with 53 nonprofit organizations. 71 different people have led the event. And to date, it's been over $121,000. I will say this is on track to double what we did in 2024. Just about double. So in 2024, we gave around 70,000 total for the entire year. It is available in the US, the United Kingdom, and Canada. Those are our three largest markets. And so these numbers are inclusive of all three areas and the work that they are doing. So more to come for full year 2025, but we are very excited about these results. I will go ahead and state that how they do it is all through your cause. So you create the leader, where it says the number of coworkers leading events. So Taylor Amerman goes into your cause, our platform that we use for matching gifts, and creates a volunteer event. And then that event is what you use for RSVPs. So you send out the invitation, hey Jeremy, I would like you to volunteer with me. And then Jeremy RSVPs on your cause. And then after we hit that 5 employee threshold, or other partners can also use the link too to join, it's automatically triggered for the grant, which is great. So Your Cause has been a really good partner of ours to make it easy and simple. And all our team has to do is hit approve. So of course, we will help them if they need any advice or suggestions on volunteer activities, but the back-end system makes it very simple for our team. So how in the world did we go about this local impact program, and why is it so important? So here's 3 different things that I think are important to start new initiatives. I told you the problems we were facing, and in order to address those problems, we had to lead with our values and ensure that everything we did was values based. And one of the issues I had with the regional allocation of dollars and how they were being used, it wasn't aligned to our values. They just weren't, right? Sometimes in one market, they were giving all the money to one organization just because a senior leader was involved there. In other markets, they were using it to support volunteer efforts, just a variety of different things. But these are our social impact values. Integrity, right? We do what we say we will do. We have strong ethics in our work. Humility is important. We don't have all the answers as a social impact team. And that is why I don't know what the big issues are in Miami or in Dallas, Texas, right? And so we really do want to empower those local employees to volunteer where they want to volunteer. And so that's why we don't restrict it to many organizations there. The third one is equity, again, in providing more access. So now the finance team can use this to support volunteerism. The business resource groups can use this. We really made the whole program more equitable. And finally, transparency, right? That's why we encourage people to share. We want people to know and be transparent about the volunteer activities, about where the dollars are going and how the dollars are being used. I will say the dollars are not to buy lunch. They're not to buy supplies. Those dollars go straight to the organization as a donation. We all know volunteerism is not free. These nonprofits are taking their time to host our employees, and we want to ensure that they receive that donation. We still encourage the departments to have extra budget for the supplies, for lunch, etc. The second takeaway: empower the team. So here's a picture of our social impact team, small but mighty. So you have myself, you have Brandon, who is based in Chicago at our headquarters, Ellie Cook in the UK, and Teresa in Canada. But she does have some global responsibilities as well. And these are the folks that are doing the work all day, every day. So it was my idea, but in collaboration, we made it stronger and better. The cool thing about Brandon is he came from sales before he joined the social impact team. So he gets it. He understands what motivates them, why they'll take the time to volunteer, what would be the benefit for them to volunteer. But he's also an excellent communicator of the work. So now that we have local impact program, he's the one doing a lot of presentations, talking about it, supporting coworkers in making it happen, because he's able to just talk their language, and it is really resonating, and hence why you're seeing the double 100% adoption rate from last year. So it's not all me. We've got to be a team. Ellie supports local coworkers, Teresa in Canada, and we're really starting to see this snowball grow and grow. Third takeaway: measure what matters. So you're going to see some pretty dense slides, a lot of numbers, but I want you to know how we are measuring our both local impact program. I told you our output metrics of local impact program, but I also want you to know about other ways we collect data in this work. So the first thing we do is a survey of our nonprofit partners, both from the local impact program, but also from our grant partnerships, right? We care that we are a good partner. With $1 million, we are not going to be the largest. If we can't be the largest, how can we be the best? So we've done this annual partnership survey for 3 years, and I'm going to explain the 2024 results to you. And again, these go to all of our nonprofit partners to gather their perceptions of our relationships. Okay, so this just occurred in February of this past year. So we kind of do it based on 2024, but it was really 25. So first, 86% response rate. That is huge for surveys. So our partners care, they're engaged, they want to respond to us. It is anonymous too. So we use a third party to administer the survey. I don't know who has responded. I don't know names. It is totally anonymous. We are very proud that there was a 96% overall favorability and 89% targeted outcome favorability. So here are some specific things that we asked. So here are a few highlights. Values alignment. So we asked specific questions on the integrity, transparency, equity questions. We want to know, are our behaviors aligned to our values? And we achieved 100% agreement, reinforcing our commitment to these core principles. We care about our behavior as a team. Do we follow that? 100% of respondents said that we follow through on commitments. Again, the integrity. We do what we say we will do. Addressing issues together. It rose to 100%. Some of these, the last two, were not at 100% the year before. So I think we're communicating more. We gather feedback every time, and we care a lot. I will say 2 years ago, we had a significant budget decrease, and navigating that with our partners was very challenging, right? So that's kind of what this one was getting at, is how can we go through tough times together? And then transparency and communication also achieved 100% agreement. So this is what matters to us. This is what I can control, right? It's very hard to get more budget. We all know this, but I can control how myself and my team interact with our nonprofits. We do trust-based philanthropy, and I really care about empowering and respecting our nonprofits. But of course, we did get feedback, and we want to address it, right? So we know we still are lower on being the corporate partner of choice. And the number one reason is the dollar amount, right? When our average is around $20,000 to $25,000 as a grant, we're just not going to be the number one. Okay. We know they are receiving a lot bigger dollars from other corporations. So something we still try to work on. Enhancing engagement opportunities. Again, this is why we are able to talk about local impact programming. This kind of rose from we want to do more, we want to volunteer, the mentoring, skills based volunteerism. We want deeper engagement, not transactional. Um, and then they want to kind of communicate to our coworkers more, right? And have them attend events, initiatives, and just overall engagement. So, one way we have enhanced this portion is we have an internal SharePoint site, and every one of our nonprofit partners has their own page. We highlight who we partner with, and then you can click on, we'll say, Perscalis. And right there, we highlight a paragraph of the summary paragraph of what our partnership looks like between Perscalis and CDW. And we also include ways to volunteer, links, PDFs, maybe a video of our partnership. So that's something we want to use more, is sending our coworkers to the SharePoint site to better understand and learn more about our partners. That was survey number 1, asking our nonprofits what their perception is of CDW and our work. The second survey is our coworkers. So we really, really care about their engagement and what they think. Overall, our participation rates in our programs are low. It's around 10%, and we know that's low for social impact. At the same time, we do have a different business model, and so what I care more about is that our employees care. Even if they can't participate for whatever reason, it still matters to them that we have social impact, as well as to better understand what are the barriers to engagement. And of course, there's 2 big ones. First is they just don't know, they are not aware, they have not learned about it. And the second is manager support. And those have been the 2 big barriers that we've been trying to address to increase engagement. And like I mentioned earlier, some of it is just lack of tracking. So we're doing it, we're volunteering, we're just not entering the hours. So sometimes we got to be a little careful with data to not say it's completely representative of what is happening. So we have done 2 different surveys related to coworkers. First column is social impact participants. We took out of our systems who has actually volunteered, and we wanted to know their response compared to a randomized selection of the entire population of coworkers. So first column are people who we know have participated in volunteerism, VTO, as well as matching gifts. And then of course, we did a randomized sample. Okay. Our goal was to have 80% favorability. So here's a few. Here's the question. CDW provides me with opportunities to make a positive impact in my community. Not surprisingly, social impact participants ranked it much higher than all coworkers. CDW's social impact program is important to CDW's brand reputation, also significantly higher. And CDW's social impact program makes me proud to work at CDW. Okay, so we know this. People who are engaged really care about this work, and it makes them proud to work at CDW. We've been able to use this comparison of why more resources should go towards our group, right? Hey, we're doing really well. The employees that are participating with us feel stronger and more connection to the company. So very proud of this work that we have done to survey our employees. And this is a separate survey than a typical annual engagement survey of the company. We have one question in that annual survey that we do continue to track over time, but I use our survey as more of the data that I care about. So when the CEO says, how are things going or how many people are participating, I'll explain it and things are great and we're doubling the engagement and local impact program. Love all those output metrics. However, I really care of what kind of team we are and the behaviors we have with our nonprofit partners. And I really care what our coworkers think about social impact, even if they are not able to participate. It's very important to me. I'm not going to read all of these, but it's great to get the quotes from employees again and use them in slides when they're trying to influence for budget in support of new programs. But there's this gratitude, they praise around how just meaningful programs Some of them use the word benefits, right? They do view it that way. But they do want more information. Okay, I want to know more. It should be promoted more. We need to communicate. So that is where our team is putting a lot of effort. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Of course, during a tough day, these are the quotes that make it reminds you that you are making a difference and that our employees really do value this work. So just to summarize, with our local impact program is in trying to start new things and reallocate budget is make those changes by leading with values first and foremost. And maybe by even leading with values, you kind of realize some of your practices or programs that are legacy programs aren't values aligned anymore. They were great 20 years ago, but might be a different company or want to do things differently. Empowering the team. There are significant resources on your team, on the broader company. Use them. You don't have to go and make these changes on your own. And then measuring what matters. I'm happy to share our full takeaways or questions that we ask on both surveys. Happy to share those. But influence, truly, truly, what metrics matter. Output metrics are great, but they aren't everything. All right, Jeremy. So with that, I will take any questions. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing.
All right. Thank you, Taylor. As a reminder, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A tab. Just a couple of comments from me. First, on the volunteering side. I love that the team uses volunteering as not just an employee engagement tool, but a tool to also bring in customers or probably even prospects too. And it just really shows how versatile volunteering can be. It's that's to me that's a brilliant way of using volunteering as a way to really deepen those relationships both internally and externally. Then the next comment that I have is I really love the survey comparisons that you showed and using that data to prove that you should have more resources for the work that you're doing. I feel like when it comes to communicating with leadership teams, that's the good stuff that you really want to show them to really unlock those resources. So just a couple of comments from me. There is a question from the audience from Wade. Are there plans to expand the grant budget to reflect the strategic needs in the community, or is it more about going deeper into those relationships?
Yeah, great question. So I will be transparent that we are not the only budget doing some of this. So we are the philanthropic typical social impact. And we use a donor advised fund for our giving, also say that. But then we have our partnerships team, the teams that work with the Microsoft, Lenovo's, Dell's of the world. And they have marketing dollars that can be used for social impact. So we are looking at when is it better for our team to give the dollars and when is it better to have more of a marketing lens. So for example, if product donations are needed, that would be better for marketing, and then they can tell the story of how those laptops were used, for example. Okay, so there are a few different budgets. Where we are now is I've been there a few years. It's been some slow changes related to digital opportunity. CW is very proud of their history. And now, with new leadership in HR, where our team is, I would say we are going to do a healthy evaluation of our partnerships and of the amounts. Again, with the values lens, are they equitable? Are they the right sized? Are they strategic? Are we getting the value from them? And then I actually think that will do two things. I think it will do some, I think some will get calibrated. I think some will go up and some will go down. And so some we will want deeper because there's significant business value, and others might be, well, that's just an amazing place to volunteer. And our employees love to volunteer. That's great, but maybe it should be at this level, not this level. So just some overall evaluation that we are in the middle of. But new leader is very supportive of this work. And I do hope with her employee lens that it will lead to more resources.
And you mentioned earlier that you're a mighty team of four.
Yes.
Any plans on expanding the team, or is it more so getting those resources than getting to the point where you can to expand?
It's a great question. The one person I did not, or I did leave off of that slide, is we have a 10-hour a week intern. And I love she was a summer intern. And I say, Brandon leads our intern volunteer efforts. And I always say, who are the stars? who are the stars, who has raised their hand many times, wants to help us. He let 5 different interns do different projects with us over the summer, even though they were not ours. They might be a sales intern, but they still took the time to do a project for us. And then we hired her because she was so great, demonstrated impact as well as commitment to this work. And you'll also know it's so hard to get internships in social impact that I really want to provide that. Ideally, would love to bring her on full time after she graduates. Not sure we have the budget or headcount to do that, but certainly advocating. And you all know this with social impact roles, being at the company really helps to just get in when the opportunity is. So highly recommend going to a company that cares and then building those relationships, demonstrating your commitment to this work for when the opportunities do open up. The other thing I think that could happen is that one CDW team, or formerly known as DE&I team, I think there might be some more working together, maybe even formally under the same umbrella. Again, how can our team support business resource groups more strategically? And that could, again, give us the opportunity to realign headcount to support what we need to instead of just D&I, just social impact. And then if I really were to add, I would do it related to skills-based or pro bono, is I would love to hire a headcount to lead that.
Perfect. Going back to what when you're talking about your grant making strategy and how your budget is small, how should practitioners, and that's the case for most practitioners, having a small budget for grants. How should practitioners go about strategically thinking about their strategy and getting the most out of their dollars?
Yeah, it's great. So my biggest thing when it comes to this is trust-based. I really do. When it is small, you got to be really conscientious of what you are asking of a nonprofit. You cannot, if it's $10,000, $20,000, it's just, here you go, here's the support to support your mission. And then what we talk about is our partnership with them, that we are proud. I've said CompuDopt a few times. We are proud that CompuDopt achieved XYZ over the year. I don't necessarily take credit for exactly what our $25,000 to $50,000 does when it's that level of scale. I just don't. Right. So we don't give highly specific, we don't ask for detailed budgets of how they're going to spend those dollars. I tell our nonprofit partners, if our grant application takes you more than 15 minutes, you've done something wrong. Just again, that equity value for money. Then it is hard. The hardest thing in this job is no. It just is. And so some of our criteria are history with the company, senior leader involvement, coworker engagement, right? Do they have volunteer opportunities and ways for us to get involved? Geography, are they aligned to offices where we are? Can coworkers across the country get involved? We've probably added about 8 to 10 partners since I've started at CDW, and that has been one of the lenses. So like a Perscalis is national and it's one donation for us, but coworkers across the country can get involved with them. So that's where we are in our evolution. The ones we've added have had broader geographical reach.
Can you talk a little bit more about the CompuDot partnership and kind of what that looks like and how that all came to be?
Yeah. So we always wanted to do more. So I will say when our budgets were getting cut a couple of years ago, we said, okay, what can we do then to integrate social impact and nonprofits into our business operations? And we thought about that in a few different ways, but a partnership with CompuDopt is what rose to the top. And the official program is called Tech for Tomorrow. So again, let's call it United Airlines is a customer, one of large customer of ours in Chicago. They want to buy 1,000 new laptops for their employees. Well, they have 1,000 to get rid of because it's been every 3 years you get a new laptop. So we as a company provide many options for those used devices. Frankly, they could sell them and get a credit on their account with one of our partners. But another way is they could donate them to CompuDopt, get the tax donation of the value of them, and then CompuDopt does all the cleaning, wiping, certifying them, and refurbishing, and then they distribute them in the local communities. They're also the ones that, frankly, have the trucks to go get them from United Airlines and do some of the logistics for us. And then too, like United Airlines and many others, they care about social impact. So you're also reducing your environmental footprint and the positive community impact.
Brilliant, brilliant partnership. Okay, doesn't look like there's any other questions from the audience. We'll just give it about 20 seconds to see if anything comes through. Otherwise, we'll give everyone a little bit of time back in their day.
That's great. And yes, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Always happy to share more. If you want to know more details about what I talked about today, happy to connect.
All right, let's go ahead and pause there. Taylor, thank you so much for walking us through how you and your team are building a culture of local impact. Brilliant, brilliant work. A lot of insights out of this episode, and I'm sure the audience members feel the same way. So, with that, thank you so much. And for everyone who joined us, thank you for joining, and we'll see you on the next episode of Impact Deconstructed. Have a great day.